I've been a part of the Great Outdoors since about 1993, 94. I'm a part of the Santa Barbara Ventura County chapter. You can see it there in my left nipple. That's our logo. And there are currently 5 chapters. We're the northernmost chapter of California. Started in 1978 by a group of individuals that thought they would start planning trips for the gay community to earn a little extra income. So it was for a for-profit kind of company that they started, and it actually evolved into a not-for-profit company, and it's totally based on volunteer support. And one of the mottos was "out of the bars and under the stars." So it was another kind of place for gay people to get together that wasn't in a bar-like environment. First joined, I was just coming out, and I was terrified. And I never been with a large group of gay men, so it was very scary. And I went to a potluck, and I took a straight friend with me to protect me. Unbelievable. And after 5 minutes, I told her she could go, because I realized it wasn't all about something horrible and sinister. It was actually a lot of fun, and been with them ever since. Yeah, what is it about camping in the gay community as opposed to just going camping anywhere? Right. That's really a very important question. The thing I notice about myself being involved with other gay clubs is that the friendships that you develop in the Great Outdoors tend to be lasting friendships. And I really haven't experienced that in other clubs. And that's one of the, I think, the high points of the Great Outdoors, you know, because we're like an extended family. What I've been noticing in a few years that Great Outdoors has been going on is that it's aging, and the average age of a Great Outdoors member is over 40, maybe 43. And in this particular trip, I think most of the people here are over 40, except one exception, and that's Chris Fava, who's a good friend, and he's also the vice president of outings for the chapter, Santa Barbara chapter.
When I moved here about 3.5 years ago, I live in Ventura, so there were all these people in Great Outdoors, and they were telling me about it, and it took me a little while, but eventually I came out to one of the trips. The people in Great Outdoors that go on these trips, they're definitely kind of like my second family. They're extremely friendly. They care about you. They're there for you when things happen, when you need help. We do things outside of Great Outdoors, have dinner all the time, meet up. I'm 27 years old, and I am usually the youngest guy on most of these trips. And as far as why that is, I'm not really sure. I think there's a lot of people out there who like camping just like me, but they're busy, or they are in relationships, or don't have the money. Maybe a lot of people come to these events one time and they see a lot of older gentlemen, and it's not the hookup place that they're hoping it is, something like that, or they don't think that there are people there they can relate to, when in fact, I mean, I learn a lot from everybody here. You know, we were talking at the campfire yesterday, and we're all telling stories. I really like hanging out with these guys, even though they are a little bit older than me. They're still my really good friends.
Council fire, that's what it's called. Council?
Whenever you go on a trip, there's what they call trip notes. And on the trip notes tells you the itinerary of what we're going to do on the trip. And on this particular trip, yesterday we went to Hoover Dam. And today we did a little driving excursions around the park and the different highlights around the park. And another thing we frequently do, it's usually on a Saturdays, we have at about 4 o'clock, we call a tea. And it's sort of where people get together and get to introduce each other and get to meet and greet and whatever. And on this particular trip, we're specializing, I've created a theme, the Hawaiian luau. After the luau, we'll have our potluck, and everyone gets together and cooks a dish. And if you've ever been to a potluck where gay men are cooking, or women, oh my God, there's a lot of food, and it's really fun. And that's really I'd say a high point of the whole trip is this potluck. And afterwards, we'll light a big fire and sit around the fire and chat and tell stories, and while away of the evening.
How did we meet? We met in the chat room on AOL.
Really?
And that was 9 years ago. So
And you weren't living close by, or
no, I was living actually with my parents at the time, in a small town in Hilbert, Wisconsin, about 30 miles south of Green Bay. And Derek was in De Pere, which is right near Green Bay. And we decided to meet one day. We met in a Kmart parking lot and went out to dinner.
It was kind of funny. I drove my car down to this parking lot where I was supposed to meet him, and then I was kind of getting butterflies, so I kind of left the parking lot, and I was starting to go home, and I'm like, well, I could either sit home alone or I'd go meet him. So I went back, and then we met up, and then I believed we hopped in your truck.
And I think we got in my Bronco.
Yeah, I was trusting. And then we went out and played darts and had pizza.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, I got ill that evening, didn't feel good.
that's a nice AOL story.
Yeah. That first trailer we bought was a little 24-foot bunkhouse. Just big enough for the two of us to sleep in.
Yep.
I mean, it was a pretty small little trailer, but the first year we had it out like 38 weekends. We just fell in love with camping, and we found some other people online through the RRV, or Rainbow RV group, and went to dinner with them one night and kind of formed this mutual little group in the Midwest. And it just turned in that we were camping almost every weekend. And we really enjoyed camping with them, and I think they did with us. So
The decision kind of evolved over time. John kind of come up with the idea that maybe we could go, that would be neat to be a full-time RVer. And around the same time, I've been noticing that I was getting bored at work, which is a ongoing trend. And so I was transitioning my career from being a full-time employee at companies to being a computer consultant, going from job to job. We didn't know if it would work, but off we went, and it's been working so far. But that's kind of how it evolved.
yeah, I guess that's why we're not quite the traditional full-timers, as a lot of people think most full-timers are retired people that or have unlimited funds and go traveling and such. So we're definitely working full-timers.
Yep.
We took some sentimental things and some things we just couldn't part with and stored them at a friend's house and also at my sister's house. But in reality, that's just sentimental stuff. Most of what we own is with us. So we had one hell of a garage sale.
You could go online and figure out how much someone's unit in general costs. And so, John, go ahead and answer the question.
We're around the $100,000 mark. We bought a used rig. That's about where we fit into the picture. I mean, it's as far as a Class A motorhome goes, we think it's pretty nice. You're a little more dependent on yourself for making sure that things are okay for finding a parking spot and finding water and finding some place to dump your sewer and stuff like that. And where somebody living in a high rise in Manhattan probably doesn't give a second thought to are we gonna have power to make dinner tonight, or where do I find propane here, or stuff like that. But
Well, what I call it is we have poo ownership, and in that our poo goes in a tank, and we have to deal with it sometime or another. He's usually the one who does it.
blog. Derek started it just before we went full time. It used to be called DerekEtnire.com, and he started it as a thought that he would use it as a marketing tool for himself when he was looking for jobs, kind of like an online resume, and it kind of morphed into being more about our life than about his professional life. So we changed the URL and made it johnandderek.com, and it's really, we try to post every day what's going on. It's pretty boring. We're not real exciting people, but what happens in the campgrounds we're at and what people we meet and stuff like that. So if you come visit us, you'll probably end up on the blog. Friends and family, and that's one of the most useful parts of it, is they use it to keep in touch with us. But what we kind of found is we have this cult following, if you will, of people that we've never met, and we get some emails from them, but we're averaging about between 6,000 and 10,000 hits a month on it. So it's really grown in popularity far beyond what we would even imagine it would be. Usually you'll find that with most motorhome or RV couples, one of them's pretty mechanically inclined and the other one isn't, and that happens to be the case here. But it takes all kinds of people to RV. The valves, this one dumps our sewage tank, this one our gray tank, and basically if I pull our gray water tank, that's our shower water, and the water comes out of the hole and goes into the valve. First bay is kind of an electronics consortium. That's the antenna for our ham radio. If you look underneath, you can see where our propane tank is. Hydraulic pump for the jacks and for the slide out room. An exterior shower. Then this is where the city water comes in, and that is a little flipper flapper on the vent for the sewage tank. Our electric plugs in here, and then we plug into the meter box. This is our chassis air conditioner for when you're going down the road. Here is a radiator for the engine, and also our hydraulic reservoir and coolant reservoir where we check our oil. And the main access for the engine's actually under the bed. This bay is actually where our fresh water tank is. This is a bay for the water heater. Here's our inverter, and that's the device that makes the 120 volt out of the 12 volt. And this is the other side of the pass-through bay. And then this is our entertainment bay. And our lanterns, Derek's 8-track player, and ice skates and stuff that we want quick access to. Then of course you have the awnings on the outside.
So do you have like mixed feelings about leaving, or are you?
Not really.
I mean, we're tired. It's ready to move on.
Yeah. And so just tell me for like where you're headed. And
We're headed to Columbia, South Carolina. We've never been there. We've driven through there when we picked up our motorhome, but really haven't spent any time there, so it's going to be a completely new experience. Pulling out of some of these campsites is not fun because they're not level, and sometimes the back end drags.
so that's your rear view.
Yep. All it really shows me is the front of the tow vehicle.
So what are you going to do for Easter? Is that kind of not a big deal, or are you?
Not really a big deal for us, but probably terrible to say.
Well, no, you don't miss. I mean, do you miss stuff like that, like holidays and stuff like that, or?
Derek does much more so than I do. My family and I kind of drifted apart a little bit, which it was cool that my dad came down this last week just because we had been drifting apart, and a lot of it is because I left Wisconsin, and everybody's still there, and they all think I'm crazy for doing this. So we'll probably go home for Christmas, but I really don't foresee us, going home anytime other than that.
Kitchen here, and the entertainment center is a slide out, and the table and sofa is a slide out, and then we have the bedroom, which is a slide out for the king size bed. Well, the countertop's Corian, and what's nice about this countertop is that it's flush with the stove here, or the cooktop, and a lot of them you see will have a raised dome over it, and we want to be able to have a lot of counter space. We don't have dishwashers, so that usually sits over there, and then I bake bread, so I needed the counter space for that. We have a tub shower combination. And I'm beginning to wonder if we should have just gotten the regular shower combination. But I got the tub because, bathing the dogs. And then we have a washer and dryer here, which is a separate washer and dryer.
Going full-time, we did that 3 years ago. My mom lived to be 90, and so we were kind of tied down to San Antonio until she passed away. And then as soon as she passed away, we sold her house and sold our house and went full time. And it's been 3 years that we've been full time now. Yeah. And we've been just about everywhere in the United States except West Virginia, and we haven't been to Alaska.
We'd had his mom's house sold, and we were just, okay, we've done everything we need to do. And so I asked Tom, I said, well, what do you want to do now? And he says, well, let's put the house on the market. So we put the house on the market, and 5 days later it sold, and it was just like everything was going boom, 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 boom.
It went really fast.
Yeah, and so we moved into the trailer. We've got a waterbed and storage and a couple of dressers, but other than that, we pretty much got rid of most of the stuff in the house. And we haven't missed any of it. We seem to be the exception as far as being full-time. Most of the people that we've met are like vacationers. They still have a permanent residence, where our permanent residence is where we end up for the night, and being here in the trailer. But most of the people around us, they've got a home to go back to.
Not real problems. He's much more of a talker with strangers, and I don't do that very much. So he's outside, and he'll be talking to people. And when we're in, just a regular straight camp or something or another, a lot of times they'll talk. The guys will come up and talk with him. But if I come out the door, it's like, oh, and you just kind of see, so well,
scatter.
Okay, bye bye. We've had that.
Well, for next winter, I've already made reservations for here at Camp Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, because amazingly, Tom likes it here.
And why do you say amazingly?
Because he's shy, and he doesn't like to be around a lot of people, and gay people for some reason bother him. And
Well,
So-
people, period. I'm not a.
Yeah, and so he likes it here. So, and I like it here, and I think it's a good place to be, even though, going to the grocery store is 20 miles away, and this sort of thing. So we've learned to adapt to that.
When we started out, we said, well, 3 years, but it's been 3 years, and neither one of us are ready yet to
I don't think
to
we're ready
stop.
yet. We also started out with the idea of looking for a place to live, and we haven't found that.
Not yet.
The carnival was in town and, sort of took it as a regular job and decided to travel with it. I'm 19.
Oh, you're 19 now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. So
I'm young. When I came to the carnival and started to work for them, I just started staying in their living quarters and their house trailers and bunkhouses that they had, and ended up going to the next spot and the next location after that, and ended up just doing it full time. And I met Neil when we were leaving Michigan and met back up with him in Tennessee, and here we are.
So I was 43 when I first met you. I've had a birthday since. I've been doing this ever since I was probably 13, so I'd say a good 30 years. Yeah, don't know anything else. But this is a fifth wheel. This has 3 slide outs. Over the summer, we got rid of the carpeting. We put all hardwood floors in it because I have a dog. I got 2 recliners, which would be the same 2 that would be in a normal house. The couch we're sitting on is a sleepaway sofa. Our table's an oak table with 4 chairs. Our bedroom is a double-sized bed with a Sealy Posturepedic mattress. So we don't live, by all means, on a terrible mattress. A lot of people are amazed when they come in. We have a lot of space. And this one here says ice maker, so we have our own ice maker.
That's cool. So.
Oven, 3-burner stove, microwave. Mike's move, or his first move with us, we parked at a truck stop, and he wanted to sleep with his pocket knife next to him. And I said, "Don't worry, we're fine." And what we do is we open this completely up. Our satellite's on the roof. We turn on our satellite. We turn on our generator. We actually both took showers, and here we are in a truck stop in the middle of nowhere, living like if we were in a campground, on our own utilities. It's 100% self-contained.
I mean, working in the carnival, a lot of people who do work for the carnival, considered carnies or something,
Have no teeth.
have no teeth. Numerous times people, ladies, mothers came up to me, asked me, "I have a quick question for you though. What are you doing here? You have all your teeth and you look too decent to be working for a carnival."
Excuse me, do I have teeth?
No.
Excuse me?
But you're not.
Wait, do I have teeth? I'm
Yeah,
missing 2 teeth.
yes, he has plenty teeth. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm really excited about helping him run his business and everything next year. And, it's a whole different form of traveling, and I love to travel, like he said earlier. And
We start December 27th in West Palm Beach. We do all of Florida. We leave Florida in the beginning of April. We are in Michigan from mid-April to September, Labor Day, the unit that I'm on. And then we go into Oklahoma, then to Alabama, as I said before, and then to Mississippi, and back to Florida. I have actually 2 cotton candy stands, and we have 3 Coke stands, which we sell bottled sodas. If you buy a box of apples for $21, and there's 125 apples in a box, and you sell the apples for $3 an apple, that's $375 that you paid $21 for. So it could be a very good business. Do I see myself off the road? I don't think I can make the money I make being off the road. I think I worked last week and I made over $3,000. because right now this is our winter money and we don't have any payments, and this is money I get to keep towards the end of the year, which is our vacation money. I don't think there's anything out there that I can do legally and work the little that I work and have, I pay my employees right, that I can clear the money I clear and enjoy life as much as I can do it. He's very, very smart and very business-minded. And again, as I told you in the beginning, he doesn't do drugs. And in the gay lifestyle, what I have seen, it's about sex and drugs. And we like the sex, but we don't get into the drugs, which is great.
I'm more attracted to Neil than some gay people, the way they act, how they act really feminine and stuff like that. I mean, he acts fine and everything, and just...
Thanks.
That's probably why earlier he said a lot of people didn't even know he was gay, and they've been working with him for years.
Oh, but yeah, I don't, I'm as gay as they come. And people ask, who is the man or the woman? That's the most corniest, stupid question that people ask, and it hates me. I made it easy for him. I told him he's the man of the relationship. But if anybody asks who does what, I said, regardless, you have to, whoever wants what, you have to please your mate. It's not who does what to who do who. It's what makes both of you happy.
...1954 New Moon trailer, like the one in the movie The Long Long Trailer with Lucy and Desi. And we brought it up here from Fort Lauderdale. We found it in a campground in North Miami and had it totally restored and then put on a flatbed trailer and brought it up when we bought the campground in 2004, the spring of 2004. Within 15 minutes of parking our motorhome, someone came up to us and said, welcomed us to the campground, and we told him how beautiful it was, and he said, well, it's for sale. And we had no intentions of buying a gay campground because we both have 2 kids and we both have grandchildren, and we thought it would be something that we'd like for our kids to come and work in the campground. But one of the things that did attract us to it was they have 2 weekends a year that are friends and family. So we've maintained that institution, but we ended up asking about it and came back the next weekend after going up to Grand Island for the week to meet with a realtor. We went back to Fort Lauderdale and decided to write a contract on it. We have 175 campsites. About 112 of those are seasonal sites. So our seasonal campers come from, 35% come from Rochester, 35% from Buffalo, and then they come from surrounding areas of Erie, Pittsburgh, eastern towards Elmira, Syracuse, Albany. So basically western New York State and southern Ontario. We have Canadians here as well.
Well, I think that you'd find that there is no bigger sense of community than here at Jones Pond. It's a family. We've had a lot of trials here. We've had some bad owners. We've lost owners to death, and there were hard times with money, and there was we all donated our services during those times, and now the place has become very popular, very successful under our new ownership, which we couldn't have picked any better people.
What we do offer is the fact that it's a unique community and that it's men only, and that's one of the reasons that most of the guys come here. It's a safe place for them to come and camp without ridicule. And we didn't really understand how important that culture was until we actually bought the campground. and found out what a strong sense of community there is here with our campers, and they're very passionate about the campground, which also, is a big plus.
It's very much like the women's music festivals, where women like the camaraderie of being together in a women-only environment. And on Western U.S., there are a lot of women-only campgrounds, Oregon, Washington, California area, and it would be great if there were a campground for women in New York. There is definitely demand for it.
Well, I have an 1861 Italianate style home in a small town called Warsaw, New York, and I live in my business. I live upstairs. I do dining up and down, and when you're around employees all day, dealing with the public all day, and at nighttime when they go home, the phone's still ringing. People are still knocking for gift certificates or to pick up menus or whatever. I'm always in my business. I live and breathe it 24 hours a day. So I look forward to the summertime because this is my stress relief. Once I hit the gates of Jones Pond at the top, and it's kind of like coming home to my summer home. This is camping, but this is a camping community. There is a lot of my social life goes on here. There's always a dinner party to be had at somebody's site. Always a fire. It's more so of meeting friends and keeping up with friends. It's a way to come together in a safe place, feel safe, secure. Lots of opportunities as far as dancing at nighttime, bonfire at nighttime, or just hanging out at your trailer, just at your fire. I'm here when there's 200-300 people, and I'm here during the week when there's maybe 25-30 people. I live up in the 600s, which is a section. It's secluded, it's the wooded part, and it's nice just to come home and peace and quiet. Watch a little TV. Yeah, I have TV. It's camping, it's roughing it. But enjoy that, get up and go to bed, and then in the morning you wake up, make your coffee, sit outside on the picnic table, turn your TV on, watch the news, and plan your day, and then get up and go to work. Sometimes deers walk by, see lots of little critters on the ground, and the mornings are really nice. They're really nice here.
Obviously, it's important that we exceed people's expectations when they come here to camp, because a lot of times we tell people that it's not about camping. It's about the social experience that they have here, meeting other gay men in a friendly environment, and that's very important to the culture here.
We look forward to it all winter. We can't wait for it to open. We have a reunion service every year, a reunion fellowship every year in one of the cities north of here, where all of us campers get together for a weekend in the city and get hotel rooms, and and we have a banquet hall, and just because we can't stand to not see each other through the winter.
Ed Herman is a
Australian bearded dragon. Green basilisk. They're from Central America.
So you come here like every weekend? Or?
We're seasonals. Yeah, we have this is our permanent site, and we come here most weekends.
The theme, or what? If you could just tell me like what?
Just supposed to be a little paradise. Just paradise in the woods.
And what was like the first thing you got started with?
First thing I got started with would be probably the alligator, and some of the pink flamingos, and then I added things as they went along.
Well, it's fun.
It's like a little paradise in the woods, you know.
During the early part of the beginning of Jones Pond, there were lots of people that came here to spend their last days in peace and quiet. And then their loved ones were left here to think about them being here, and they decided that a memorial garden would be the perfect thing to hold them in memorial. One of the things that we've done is they've done a cookbook, and it's by donation, and the donations help maintain this garden, and throughout there's many pictures. There are trees and flowers that have been donated and planted, and there's people that was important to, you know, come and they maintain these things. And my partner and I maintained this garden and as a work of love. And we hated to see it get run down, and there was some periods of time when people couldn't bring themselves to do it. Each page of this memory book that I'm holding contain names, and there are people that have been able to write in their personal things. Something that struck them about the time, maybe something that they remember about that person, something that they miss. Unfortunately, there's quite a list of names in here, I think about 83 at this point, of fellow campers and that have come here, this has been very important in their lives, and they have passed on to for a variety of reasons, but of course we all know about the AIDS health crisis, and that has taken many of our friends.
I don't know. Come out as being gay or come out as being a camper?
Which was more difficult?
Coming out as a camper, I suppose. But
we've actually been coming to Camp It for about 20 years. Really? Yeah, so we used to do the tenting, or I used to do the tenting a long time ago, and when we first met we had an Airstream trailer, so we would tote that back and forth, and then we purchased the seasonal site.
And packing the Airstream trailer up and lugging all the stuff here, and then at the end of the weekend packing it all back up and de-prepping it got to be tiring. So when this lot came up for sale, we thought it was in the perfect position, and we liked the new ownership and what we saw here with the improvements going on at Camp It, and we decided to invest at that point. Oh, the experience, just the friendly people. I mean, you know, there's never any crime here. Everybody is always willing to help you out if you have a mechanical problem with your rig, or, you know, help you out if you forgot food or whatever. Just the camaraderie and just the openness and the fun that goes on here.
Michael and I have been friends for 30 years. We met in graduate school in Ann Arbor. And we went on after graduate school and had corporate careers in Chicago and on the East Coast a little bit. One day in 2000, Michael called me up and said, "Sally, you know how we've always wanted to do a business together?" "Yeah." He said, "So you ready to do it?" And I said, "I suppose." And "What have you got in mind?" And he said, "The gay campground down the street is for sale. I think we should buy it." And I said, "Michael, what a great idea. One problem, honey, we don't know anything about camping." And he said, "I know, but we can afford it."
At this point, it's a 30-year-old business. We think it's the oldest gay and lesbian campground in the country. But it was tiny, and the owner had gotten ill and died. There was an interim manager. The property was terribly neglected physically. And there was no business infrastructure. There were no business records. There wasn't even a customer list. There was just nothing to work with. And we pretty quickly saw that there was a tremendous amount of potential for it to move into becoming two things. one, a really desirable resort, and two, a bigger and more robust community. And so we started kind of investing in both of those things.
We've been together for what, 21 years. 21 years. We started out with a boat and got into boating as a recreation. We found that the family life with boating really wasn't real conducive to being gay. So we sold the boat, and I went and bought a small camper. 12 years ago, we heard about this small little tiny campground down along the shore of Lake Michigan, and so we decided we'd check it out one weekend. We came down here and camped and found a whole community of people here that have been, it was just a great time right from the start.
We came down and started meeting all these people, and they were all, you know, we had something in common with them, but the biggest thing that we found that was really great was that we got away from the typical way of meeting friends in the gay community, and which was going to a dark bar, smoke, loud music, not much time to talk really and get to know people. And here it was, you're in the daytime, you know, you see people for who they are and what they are, and that was the best part.
Some friends of ours, David and Daryl, came here for years. They used to bring a pop-up, and they talked us into coming. And for years and years and years, they used to say we should come here. And every time they'd bring up the subject, I'd walk away. And then he talked me into coming in a tent.
And I said, you're either coming or you're staying at home, and I'm going without you.
Then I decided to come, and ended up we like it.
Come like on Thursday, and then we Thursday night late, and then we don't go home till Sunday. Because we both only work 4 days a week during the summer, so it's perfect. It's a perfect getaway from the city.
And the reason that I decided that I wanted to come here after the first couple of times, I didn't want to come tenting. At that time, we didn't even live together. He used to be, and still somewhat is, a big closet case, but he's better. But when he came here, he was more relaxed. And I liked the environment of the campground because it was actually different, and I could see that he was relaxed, which is what made me want to come back. Because in that tent, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have come back. But we had a good time. The people are all nice.
We've made a lot of great friends
here. We've made a lot of good friends here. Tented 4 times, and on the end of the 4th weekend, we bought a trailer. We bought a 17-year-old trailer, had it for 3 years, and then we bought this one. I didn't like the little trailer either. He did.
Yes, but the little trailer, you could wash the dishes, get in the refrigerator, start the oven, turn the channel on the TV.
Without moving your
Without
feet.
moving out of a chair.
There were separations between, in some cases, men and women's tenting areas. We had specifically a women's only area. We had a men's only area. And there were people who really, really felt strongly they had to have those areas, and they weren't all that comfortable with the fact that they, you know, had to see those other folks. You know, some of my very favorite people in the world are men, and always have been. But
it's still
as a generalization, there are a lot of women at my generation who do not want to be associated with men at all, and certainly wouldn't choose to vacation with them. And so those women would come here, find that they didn't want to be here, and left. And it took us a while to get to the women who said, wait a minute, this is a great place. These are wonderful people. I want to play with my brothers. They're a kick.
For people my age, there really was a need to find a safe, exclusive environment in order to let your hair down and be who you were and have fun to the fullest extent that you could. And so we had to find these little secret, exclusive places like gay bars and like, you know, Camp It was at one time, this kind of exclusively gay little enclave that no straight person would ever dare venture into. I think that concept, those years were so painful that we can't completely let go of that yet. We still think that we need to bar the gate because straight people are gonna judge us and they're going to impose some standards and some expectations on us that we don't want. But the younger generation, the 20-somethings, even the late 20-somethings, grew up in a very different environment with a very different set of expectations. And so one of the things that we see is that the younger our customers are, the more they don't understand why this is a gay and lesbian resort as opposed to just a resort.
Just to get away to sit on the deck and listen to the birds, watch the flowers grow, or help the friends plant flowers. I'm not a planter, I'm the cook. So every Saturday I cook for the boys. Evelyn's more of the planter, she helps Jan.
I help a little bit.
Yeah, more so than I do. It's just good to get away and just relax. Most of our relationship, we really hung out with the guys most of the time.
Most of our friends are men. And no, we don't have a problem or anything like that.
Matter of fact, I think we kind of enjoyed it. When we first started coming to Camp It, it was really, we were the only women, so we had the bathroom to ourselves all the time. So it was great. Matter of fact, the men here are extremely nice.
Yes, very nice.
Anytime we have a problem, I remember putting the awning down for the very first time, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And sure enough, 2 or 3 of them just came over and just helped us and explained things to us. It's very friendly. We have no matter where we go, men seem to be more helpful.
Yes.
I could never imagine camping, and we went camping and whitewater rafting, and we really enjoyed it. And then we like the idea of this because it's like having a summer home, very reasonable, and it has everything you'd want: air conditioning, hot water, showers,
oven,
and it's a lot more reasonable than having a summer home, and you don't have the upkeep.
And it's in a gay community. We were the type of people who would never even consider camping, being in a trailer or on the ground or in a tent or anything like that. But once you come here, I tell everybody, it's not camping, it's gay camping. So we have surf and turf dinners. We've got a slushy machine here, professional slushy machine, a hot tub in the back. So it's a whole different experience from what people typically think of camping. There's a huge propensity, I think, for people to common people to band together. But I do believe Camp It allows people to kind of be whoever they are, whatever they are. And there's no judgment. There's a little bit of everything here. And I think that's what makes it really special. And we all interact and interface really well. Like I said, a lot of people are coming from rural Kentucky. They're coming from rural Indiana. We get a lot of people from rural Michigan that don't have a huge gay population where they live. And they're able to come here and experience this, go back to their lives, and look forward to next weekend because they're coming back here. And I think that's one of the main things that makes this place so incredible, and that's what makes it incredible for us. I mean, living in Detroit, it's fairly, gay-friendly in some areas, but it is one of the most stratified cities in the nation. But coming here, all that kind of goes away, kind of melts away. I can feel my blood pressure going down 20 points when I pull into the driveway here.
Yeah, 'cause some people aren't fortunate enough, like in their jobs, to be open and
like
relaxed. Not like me, I own a hair salon, so
And you're gay?
So I'm expected to be what I am.
If you're not gay, then you got a problem.
There's no stereotypes here.
Yeah.
Christmas in July is one of our very favorite weekends here, and it's a legacy weekend. When we bought this place, the seasonals, those are the people with the long-term leases, had Christmas in July as kind of their capstone for their season. They always did a potluck dinner. They always did one of these group gift exchange deals. And a couple of them always lined the roads with these beautiful brown paper bag luminaries that just make the place magic. And so when we showed up, they said, Christmas in July, really important to us. We want to keep it going. And we said, absolutely.
One of the key aspects of Christmas in July always was site decorating. Very sophisticated decoration of RV sites using a lot of electric. The meters really spin on a weekend like this. Down to tenters who decorate for Christmas with no electric at all and yet come up with these really fun displays. So we have a contest, and it's being selected as the best site in each of the categories is really important to people, and the competition is brutal. Includes things like being bribed with cookies and candy and beverages and all kinds of things to win votes from the members on who has the best site.
Yeah, we cut back a little bit this year. Last year we did the entire outside in addition to the inside room.
Last year we moved most of the decorations that we reserved for our home in Grand Rapids, which is a 1951 ranch-style house, and we brought a lot of the decorations that we used there that are all mid-century 1950s and had that in and outside the trailer. And it was an opportunity for a lot of people who had never seen the inside of the Lucy trailer to get in and see that as well. So it was decorating, and we thanked them by offering everyone a Christmas cocktail.
Oh yes.
Cocktails is a nice word, but well, yes, yeah, okay, it was a bribe. It was bribery.
It worked.
Here you are at Easton Mountain. This is a 200-acre, 195-acre retreat center in upstate New York. In this building, we have our main room, which is our workshop facility. We have that for public gatherings. We have a dining room here. Obviously, all the food production is here. This is both the place, this is the main common building for the resident community, because we have 17 guys who live on or around Easton Mountain who consider this part of their home, if not their primary home. That building in the back of us, we started calling it the guest house. It's a 20-bedroom motel. We stopped using the word motel because it doesn't sound very attractive when you say motel. But that's our main lodging. We also have a couple of bunk houses, and we have a campground as well. I had been interested in being a priest, and I realized that the church was neutral at best to gay people, and often was spiritually abusing gay people. And so the time had come for us to take care of our own spiritual lives, and so that we need to create centers that would do that. And so Easton Mountain is a holistic spiritual center where people recreate and build community and grow and stretch in a whole variety of ways. We as a community, as a tribe, if you will, had spiritual gifts to offer the world, and that the world needed what God gave us. The unique piece of the human tapestry that this community held had to be shown to other people.
The outside world which you encounter as gay men, which we encounter as gay men, there is a message, underlying message that you meet every day that says, you're wrong. There's something wrong with you. You shouldn't be this way. And so to be able to remove yourself from that cultural context of the outsider and be in a place where you're held by nature is healing. When you speak of gay men coming together as a tribal group, I completely, you can see that very easily, how we come together be it in a community, in an urban setting, or if it's a resort, and the way that we play and think is, it's that need to be involved with that, where we come together, and it is very tribal. It's a tribe within a tribe. I see men as a tribe of men. And within that tribe of men is another tribe, which are gay men. And we have a very particular sensibility that keeps showing up. There's a place for us. Yeah, okay, that's it. So it's just like that. I mean, that song is very moving, because we're always looking for that place where we can be safe and we're not seen as an outsider. And this is that kind of place. There's a welcoming that is here for gay men. There's a welcoming for all people, but there's an extreme sense of acceptance.
I had a very powerful encounter with death as a young man. My lover died of AIDS. I spent part of that year, I was in Calcutta. I used to bathe men in the Mother Teresa's home for the dying and just help, pitch in, hold people, pick people up, do physical work. But it was, the heat was grueling and the loss was intense. I couldn't process the enormity of what I was encountering. And so I felt like I couldn't bear Calcutta much longer. And so the day before I left, I went to the Mother House to see if Mother Teresa was there. And the sister at the door said, come in the morning for Mass and you'll see Mother Teresa. She'll be back tonight. And so I went. And I had this intense experience when I met her, of overwhelming sense of emotion. Like I was in the presence of someone who was really very remarkable. And then she invited us to have tea with her after Mass. There were 3 visitors, and we all came, and she was very kind. But she said to me, not unique, she said this to most Westerners who came. She said, go home and take care of your own people. And in a way, I felt that was being spoken about gay people. Go home and take care of your people. They need you more than the people in India need you. So that was a charge to me. And then when I had no idea, and I remembered that years later, and I was doing massage one day with a man who had so much KS on his chest that I couldn't touch him because the wounds they were weeping. And I thought, these are my people, and they're being neglected. And so to take care of other gay men spiritually is what I think, how I'm living out my call to priesthood.
Well, Starland came about 10 years ago as basically we all lived in LA, a bunch of us, and we thought we'd like to have kind of a clubhouse we could come to and enjoy. And so we'd heard about, Land was cheaper out here in the desert, and it's not a good place to get one. So we looked and looked and looked and looked at 35 properties, and we said, we came to this one. We looked at a lot of them, and we said, kind of, no. And this one was like, this was kind of magical. It's a totally not-for-profit group, and just we have events and activities, and it's just run by the members, which is, we enjoy it. Enjoy coming out here.
My name is Mojave, and I'm here at Starland. I'm the long-term resident here. I've been here for 10 years. Starland is celebrating its 10th anniversary today.
Oh, today is Starland's 10th anniversary. Yay! Very significant, especially since I've been here all of 9 years. I've been an enthusiast and coming up here and being part of the community and just enjoying the hell out of the people in the community here, the 3 owners and their friends, and bringing my friends for over the years. And I met the folks here, and at that time there's a lot of people here, and they were doing this big communal meal. And I immediately fell in love because of the nature and the landscape and just the funkiness and the rusticness of the whole thing. You could put your feet up on the furniture and not worry about, some kind of over-the-top etiquette.
When John gave me a call and said he had just bought this property out in the desert, and and the 3 owners were looking for a caretaker, and he said, I know you're coming to Los Angeles in another week or so. So I came out here it was actually June 1st of 1997, and I saw the place, and I just fell in love with it.
Our mission was to really kind of create a retreat center, as well as kind of a home for any man that just wanted kind of a second home out in the desert, a way to get away from the city. We wanted things very remote. It's not like Palm Springs. It's more rustic, but we're a family here, and we've had lots of new guys coming up with it, but a lot of the same guys have come up for all 10 years because they love it here.
This is our purple cabin. We call it the Pine Cabin, and basically it has a double bed in that for couples, and it has 2 bunk beds here. It's exemplary of what we're going to be doing with the other cabins that are in this vicinity. The labyrinth itself is an ancient symbol of life, and I believe the pagans that used to use the labyrinth in Europe basically walked the path in order to seek enlightenment. The east, in my studies, represents the new birth, the north being the direction of thought and knowledge, as well as the masculine element of the earth, the south being the feminine, as well as the creative spirit, the spirit of adolescence. The west is our destiny. The west is where we're headed for in our lives. And we also give reverence to ourselves at the heart level. And we welcome spirit, however it might come to us. And I want to thank Spirit for bringing us here. And again, I want to thank the spirits of the sky, the earth, and the heart for bringing us to the center. Come on in. We can see the backs of our buildings, not really that beautiful, but it gives you a perspective of where things are here on the land. We can see all the way down to the main hall and the trailers that are behind the main hall. And this is where we've held our activities. Any time that someone sees Massage Weekend or sees any of our other activities mentioned on the website, this is where we hold them. Come on in. A little comfortable couch area here. We have AV equipment if people want to listen to music. We have a disco set up, as you can see here on the ceiling. We play movies on the TV. It has heaters. We have a cooler for the summer. We have a little refrigerator and a coffee nook back here.
For a time, we wanted Starland to be this wonderful place that people would come and just be in awe of the place. It turns out that they're very scared of it. But we came to a realization, I think all of us all at once, it's not the place, it's not the physical place, it's the people, it's the community. Screw that the things look like hell and don't work half the time. You know, it's the people. We come up here to be together and enjoy the whole mishap and the whole wonderful hap of the whole thing.
Same sort of. You get to hear me commenting. Oh yes.
You got just a touch of
I do live in West Hollywood. I'm very involved in lots of gay groups, including one of the coordinators of the Seaman International Gathering in Malibu every year. One of the founders of that gathering, along with actually the other two owners of Starland. So we founded both the Seaman Group and the Starland Group. And even though they're independent, they're very intertwined. So naturism, funny thing you asked, because naturism in a way is not about being naked at all. Even though naturism is being naked, you go to a naturist event and it isn't really about being naked. It's about being free, about being yourself, about being equal with everybody, the loving of each other on a very basic scale. Most people that go to their first Seaman gathering they often, because the experience is so intense and so amazing and so like, I wish the whole world were like this. That's kind of what we get people. We wish the whole world was like this, is they get home and they're like, it's so strange because they've had such a powerful experience that they may even go through a little depression for a couple of days because they're saying, I'm back to the real world and it's not like it's supposed to be. And Seaman was. It's a wonderful experience. It's something that a lot of people never experience. And like I said, we have a lot of people that go to a Seaman weekend or a Seaman week, and halfway through the week they're saying, this has totally changed my whole perception of life. Amazing how that can happen.
Basically, we talked about it, and John started the very first gathering, and I was actually a paid attendee. I wasn't really a coordinator, but it sounded interesting, and I just retired from being a teacher the June before, so the timing was perfect. So I was kind of backstage and making sure that everything worked right and the contest went well and all. And by the end of the gathering, John asked me if I'd co-coordinate with him. What my job is to make everyone feel warm, welcome, and accepted. A lot of people will automatically think, because it's a naked gathering, that it's going to be one big wild orgy. And if they come here under that impression, most are very disappointed. There's a place for sex. We certainly don't say you can't do it. And in fact, we have an area of the camp set aside for people who like that. But there's a large number of people who don't have sex at all, you know, who come here purely for the warmth of other naked men and just to be themselves, you know. What makes this gathering special is this is up to 13 days where you're living in kind of a gay fantasy land where you can truly be yourself, where you can be respected, where you can be loved. But what I get out of it is joy. I mean, I've got a lot of energy, I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of desires, a belief that we as gay people should be proud, should be happy, should not be doing this attitude game, should not be doing this phony game, should not be doing the kind of stuff I've seen at bars for years. And it just gives me joy to see so many gay people come up to me and actually tell me, thank you for running this gathering, it's wonderful. I have people to come up to me and say it's mind-altering, that it's changed my whole perspective, that it's given them incredible joy. I mean, what more can you ask than that? You know, that's much better than money. I'm much happier with that than getting a percentage of the profits, of which there usually aren't any.
Well, the reason I'm here is this is the most
fun event that I've ever been to, and that's why I come, because this is fun. The people are the most light-hearted people that I've ever been around, and it's just a very, very enjoyable event. Yeah, this camp has a lot of small, probably cabins with maybe double bunks, maybe total for 16 people, 12 to 16 people. A lot of small cabins like that. There's also, we're outside Hillel, which is a nicer facility with bathrooms actually in it, as opposed to the cabins you have to go out to the bathroom. I'm actually in a tent. I enjoy being in a tent because of the privacy. I don't really want to be in a room with other people. Actually brought 2 tents, one for my gear and one for myself and my boyfriend, and a cabana for shade and lots of lights, and it's fun. It's fun, yeah. Yeah, at this event they have different contests, and one of the contests is Mr. Seaman Leather. And so last year, on the day of the contest, the theme of the cocktail party is leather. So everyone who has leather, they come dressed in leather. So I came dressed in all my leather with no intention at all of entering the contest. And a guy came up to me and says, "Why haven't you entered the leather contest?" And I said, "Well, I didn't think about it." And so he says, "We really want you to enter the contest." So I entered the leather contest that night, and I ended up winning, which entitled me to go to International Mr. Leather in Chicago, which I didn't win. Actually didn't do that good at all. There was 52 contestants, and I ended up 33rd out of 52. So the stiff competition. Some amazing men, some really amazing leather men back there in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm on KXLU 88.9 in Los Angeles. I worked for 30 years in Boston on the main rock station there, WBCN. That's me, Peter Choice. I have to say that I feel a little intimidated if I'm down in West Hollywood and everyone's looking good and dressed and ship sharp, and they apply certain vanities to their face, and here none of that really applies, and people here by far aren't ugly, and they're all very beautiful, but the beauty really shines from within. Oh yeah, there's a tremendous relief. In fact, the day that you have to leave and put your clothes back on is when you really can tell that all of a sudden you're returning into the world of clothes, and I feel much more natural. I mean, the word is naturalism for a reason. You just feel like I naturally feel better with my clothes off now.
Well, what you're looking at there is a full stack of water, and this is actually half of what we had earlier this week when the truck came. Gathering attendees haven't yet arrived, so it's kind of a quiet time. In about another couple hours we'll probably have about 300 men here, so it'll suddenly be a small city compared to this village that we've already created.
The calm before the...
Yes, it is, the calm before the storm.
How you doing?
I'm a retired minister. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I am a minister in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, which is a mainline liberal denomination. I was married for 20 years and then came out and subsequently served churches as an openly gay minister and activist in my denomination, which is one of the denominations that does not have any officially anti-gay policies. The main thing is just enjoying being with other guys. There are all kinds of workshops and activities, including the hike we went on this morning. Last year I was recruited to do the Bible and homosexuality workshop, and I went ahead and did it, not knowing what I would anticipate or experience. And what I found is that some of the guys really had difficult traumatic kinds of experiences with churches that they had been involved with, and that it was helpful to them to see a different way of approaching the Bible and understanding the Bible. When you're naked, literally there's nothing that you're hiding. Of course, psychologically you can be hiding things, but just physically, I mean, here you are. You're not using clothes to disguise the body. And to me, that's just very nice and very comfortable.
Well, most people probably imagine that it has mostly to do with sex, and I'm sure there are some people who first come here because of sex. But they keep coming back because of the bonding. They keep coming back because of the friendships that they make, and the fact that when you take your clothes off, there's something that changes. Okay, I'm trained as an evolutionary biologist, and I'm in the process of getting a master's degree in psychology. And I have a principle, I have an idea about this. I think it's a fundamental human principle that if you spend time with people naked, you will bond with them. I think that's just the way the brain works. That's why I think high school athletic teams have a real bonding experience, because they, at least they used to, shower naked with each other. There's something about being naked that's bonding. Gay Naturist International's slogan is male bonding is best done nude. Okay? And it's really hard to explain that to people and to get them to believe it. They have to experience it, and then they'll see that that's really true.
It'll sleep, 4 very comfortably, and I have a double sleeping bag. Just in case. I do a lot of non-naturist gatherings of men because for me, male bonding is extremely important. I found these venues like this and sort of regular men's retreats was just what I was looking for. Other men who wanted to experience male bonding in a safe place where they're not, they're not sexually assaulted. It's just two men wanting to, be with each other, and connect in an emotional way. That's so hard for men in our culture, and it's a shame. It shouldn't be, but it is. Been gotten into dance recently because I've gone to dance most of my adult life since I was 15. Bless my mother. She took my sister and I to see our first play at 14, and the next year we went to see Swan Lake, which at 15 you don't really understand, but it got me curious enough. So by the time I was 17, I discovered modern dance, and again, I've been going all my life. So I got the idea back in '99 to possibly create simple pieces for men like me who don't dance, but the idea of expressing yourself that way is really compelling. So I've created about 6 dances, and they've all been received very, very well. The idea is to hopefully to create something that moves you. Just to get men who either enjoy seeing the performance or enjoy being part of it. And some of them have said, well, I've seen your dance, I want to be part of the next one. And that's wonderful. Turn to the right.
No, it is.
Oh,
it's right. Wait,
yeah,
and then just turn to the right.
Right. They're pas de deux, 2 men dancing together as equal partners. That's what it's called, a pas de deux, step for 2 in French. They dance together as equal partners. And in the real dance world, you don't have that. You never see 2 men dance together. You see a man and a woman, and he lifts her up and all that sort of stuff, and they do, but they're not dancing as equal partners. But I want to have men dance as equal partners. So it's been very well received, and I guess we're doing one Saturday night.